I'm here with Noreena Hertz, economist and book author. Ms. Hertz, you're an economist and best-selling author, as I mentioned. In your latest book called Eyes Wide Open, you talk about making smart decisions in a confusing world. You also write that we all trust experts without thinking. So does that mean we shouldn't trust experts anymore?
Well, we definitely shouldn't trust them blindly. I mean, just think about big global events in recent years. The global financial crisis, most economists didn't predict that. The rise of the Islamic State, missed by most intelligence experts. The fall of the Berlin Wall, the 1973 oil crisis. In fact, when we look back at 16 years worth of expert predictions, what researchers have seen is that experts do no better than a monkey randomly throwing a dart on a board. So I'm not saying never trust experts, I'm saying just don't trust them blindly. Keep your own brain switched on.
Our viewers are interested in investment strategies. So what kind of advice can you give to them? Should they not listen to the bank advisor anymore, or be more carefully when they hear their opinion?
Definitely seek out multiple opinions. And be very careful about the opinions that you are most likely to be drawn to, which are opinions that already reinforce what it is you already believe. That's what we do. When we hear something that echoes what we believe, we get a dopamine rush, similar to as if we'd eaten chocolate or had sex or fallen in love. And yet it's the disaffirming information. It's information that challenges what we believe that is most likely to yield our best decisions, including our best investment decisions. The question to ask yourself is, who's your challenger in chief? And are you listening to him or her?
What about the role of the media? Do they influence the decision-making process too much, or what do you think about that?
We are not making decisions in kind of sterile rooms, and we're all influenced by a whole host of environmental factors. I mean, there's been fascinating research done on housing bubbles, showing how a bubble is really fueled by media stories that keep on talking about, so-and-so sold a house for even more money. It's not just the media that can trick us. I mean, and if I'm talking to investors here, investors are susceptible to a whole host of thinking errors they might not even be aware of. For example, color. Fascinating research done at the University of Haifa showing that financial investors, savvy investors, are more likely to buy a stock if they read about it on information on a green piece of paper rather than on a red piece of paper. Who would have thought that an investment decision could be swayed by the color of the paper you're reading it on? But yes, it is. We're swayed by our physical factors. Research done in Canada where they gave male undergraduate students 2 images to look at, either a neutral object, a rock, or a Victoria's Secret model. And then they asked them to make a financial decision. Well, the guys who'd been looking at the Victoria's Secret model made significantly worse financial decisions than the guys who'd been looking at a rock. So many, many examples, I go into them in great detail in my book, of a whole host of thinking errors we can make that can affect our health, our wealth, our finances and our relationships.
The slogan of the Swiss Economic Forum is simplify. Are there any things in your life that you think are too complicated that you would like to simplify?
Well, I think I'm not alone when I say that I feel at times very overwhelmed by my email inbox and the digital overload. And so I have some really practical strategies for dealing with this. I try and do 1 day a week a digital Sabbath. 1 day a week where I don't check my emails, where I don't go on Facebook, where I don't check Twitter. And even in the day, I try and make sure that I'm not checking my emails all day long, because there's research that shows that every time we check an email, it takes us 22 minutes to get back to the same level of focus we were at before. So if you're the kind of person who's checking your emails all day, you're never going to be focused, is the truth.
And does this work?
It really works. In fact, if there's one piece of advice that I got, and I went all around the world interviewing the smartest decision makers out there, hedge fund honchos, emergency room doctors, CEOs of big corporations, the one piece of advice that they all had in common, all of them every day actively carve out time to think. They find a moment in their day, maybe it's 10 minutes, maybe it's 20, maybe it's half an hour. It doesn't have to be sitting at your desk thinking, maybe it's when you're walking at the gym, maybe it's when you're driving to work, but they consciously put in their diary time to think.